Ever seen someone miss a joke so spectacularly that they build a whole theory around it? Feed Your Mind thinks that comedian JP Sears is the new flat earth messiah. Yeah, you heard that right. They've watched the comedian doing comedy, mocking flat earthers, and have triumphantly declared him as a serious convert spreading the flat earth message.
Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it either.
Okay, let me show you.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe. But first, I need to show you something else because today's video is sponsored by Callum Broom. Yes, don't worry, I didn't know what it was at first either. Tired of feeling bloated, backed up, sluggish? Allow me to introduce you to Callum Broom, your new go-to fiber supplement for better gut health, reduced bloating, and effortless weight management, all in one fruity scoop. Made with psyllium husk, Callum Broom supports digestion, helps regulate your bowel movements, and keeps your gut feeling like you just got back from a spa weekend. Over 83% of users reported a lighter feeling after just a few weeks. 2 out of 3 saw weight loss. You know what that's called? Results. Sweet, regularity-based result. Just 1 scoop mixed with water once or twice a day, and that's it. Delicious, convenient, and genuinely effective. But don't just take it from me. We've got Gary on the line from Llanfair Pwllgwyn, Gerllcoger, Chwindrobl, Llandasilio, go. Hi Gary, you're live on the air. Go ahead.
I used to hate going for long walks because I was afraid of being too far from a toilet. But since using Callum Broom, I can walk tall, proud, and whistle with my mouth closed.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds positive. So I'm happy for you. So click the link and use my code CreakyBlinder to get up to 65% off Callum Broom today. That's right, up to 65% off the pink scoop that changed Gary's life. And possibly yours. Right, back to Other Creaky. Are you there, Other Creaky?
The Earth isn't round anymore because it never was, because it's flat. Let me enlighten you about the flat Earth theory.
Jonathan Patrick Sears is an American YouTube comedian and he produces satirical videos where he parodies things like lifestyle gurus and wellness coaches and now flat earthers. But poor old Feed Your Mind hasn't noticed that JP's whole shtick is making... Forget it, I'm not explaining something that should be obvious to a 2-year-old.
It's a joke.
But for clarity, he's pretending. He isn't actually a flat earther.
You can see here what the flat Earth really looks like. The North Pole is actually in the center of the flat disk Earth. And Antarctica is a 200-foot tall wall of ice that surrounds the entire perimeter of the flat Earth. It's not some landmass at the bottom of an imaginary globe. There is so much deception and misunderstanding that hides this truth from people.
Before anyone starts recalibrating their globes into dinner plates, here's the kicker. The man is a comedian. This is satire. He's mocking the flat earth, not endorsing it.
How stupid are you people anyway?
Pretty stupid.
Feed Your Mind is so popular YouTuber, comedian JP, who has a couple of YouTube channels, and he tackles serious subjects using comedy. And I think one of his channels is called Awaken with JP. I don't really know the name of his other channel, but I came across one of his older videos. And so in this older video, it looks like JP is actually a flat earther.
He's so close to understanding JP's whole deal, the comedy, the serious subjects, then he just swerves spectacularly at the last second and declares him a fellow flat earther. The irony is practically a physical presence.
Oh, the irony! It's too much!
And this is precisely the kind of social stupidity that I love responding to. What a perfect example of somebody seeing what they want to see or believing what they want to believe. Even when the evidence, like, you know, JP being a satirical comedian, points squarely in the opposite direction.
Now, like I said, he uses comedy in a lot of his videos to get serious subjects out there. So it's possible that he was trolling, but I think this guy really is a flat earther because of the things he was saying about flat earth.
So the internal monologue from Feed Your Mind probably goes something like this. Right, so he uses comedy to discuss topic. And you're right about that, he does. It's possible he was trolling though. Warmer? So close to it being satire. But I think this guy is a flat earther because of the things he was saying about flat earth. And he trips at the finish line. He's making fun of you.
You know, you can't really take this guy too serious, but, you know, usually when he is making comedy sketches, he's definitely trying to get a point across.
I agree. When a comedian parodies something, the point they're trying to get across is usually to highlight the absurdity, hypocrisy, or foolishness of the subject being parodied. The point of JP's video and him acting like a flat earther isn't to subtly signal his belief in a pancake planet, it's to showcase just how completely ridiculous the flat earth arguments sound when you say them in a comedic context. In any context, flat earth arguments are all really stupid.
So when he's talking about flat earth, he's going into a lot of the topics of flat earth that really shows me that he is aware of the subject and he looked deeply into it.
You know what? On that specific point, you're absolutely 100% correct. He's clearly looked into the flat earth. He's aware of the subject. He does know the talking point. But here's where your logic takes a spectacular leap off the edge. You've assumed that this deep understanding, this awareness, must equate to genuine belief. Now, to create an effective parody to truly satirize a belief system, you have to understand it intimately. You need to know its catechisms, its shibboleths, its sacred texts, or in the case of Flat Earth, YouTube videos. JP does his homework, and that's what makes his parody so sharp and ironically so convincing to those who want to believe. He's reflecting the Flat Earth arguments back, and because it's an accurate reflection, you think he's one of you.
I would guess that he is a flat earther.
Well, you'd guess wrong then, wouldn't you? Because he isn't. He made one video 8 years ago making fun of flat earthers. Now, if you look at somebody like me, I know the flat earth talking points inside out, back to front, and upside down. But I'm not stupid enough to believe the earth is flat.
He was talking about the emergency plane landings where DITRH is usually the main one talking about these emergency plane stops, but a lot of others talk about this too.
Well, you should have said earlier. I mean, if Dave Weiss says it, it must be true.
So why are they lying about the globe?
So because JP brings up these emergency landing scenarios, it's another tick in the JP is one of us box. Why though?
And they're saying how that proves a flat earth based on where these planes are landing. It really would make no sense on a globe earth, but when these emergency landings take place and you map it on a flat earth AE map, it definitely looks like the earth is flat based on where these planes are landing.
Yeah, but he's not saying emergency landings prove the flat earth, is he? He's including the supposed mechanism and the type of map you use to make his claim. It's a detail that makes the parody richer, and to somebody already primed to believe, somebody like you, it makes JP seem like he's one of you because he gets the nuances of your arguments. Look, it's not our fault that you've been stupid enough to fall for a parody of a flat earther.
Then JP goes on to talk about the earth spinning and making jokes about that and basically saying that the earth is not spinning. Then he talks about how gravity isn't what we are told. Really, gravity is just, you know, you drop something, it's heavier than air. It's not really much to really think too much about. I think a lot of people overthink the whole gravity thing.
It's not that people overthink gravity, it's just that people barely think about it at all. The only reason flat earthers constantly bring up gravity is because they can't explain it on a flat earth.
You know, it's like, hey, if something's heavier than air, it's definitely falling. That's that. Buoyancy, weight, things like that.
Well, yeah, that's because gravity tends to pull things towards Earth's center of mass. Definitely falling. So aeroplanes, birds, helicopters, they all just falling with style.
That wasn't flying. That was falling with style.
JP talks about Neil deGrasse Tyson, kind of trolling him, talking about he's not really, that bright, I guess. So he also goes into Antarctica, and that's pretty much a common thing. Most people that have researched anything about flat earth, usually they know a little bit about Antarctica, you would think,
Taking shots at Neil deGrasse Tyson's intellect was a joke. It's all part of pretending to be a flat earther. So him trolling a world-renowned astrophysicist by questioning his intelligence is the peak of comedic irony. And we know a little bit about Antarctica. Oh, right. We know it's a massive ice-covered continent at the bottom of a sphere. We know scientists from all over the world conduct research there. We know there are international treaties governing it. And we know that a few short months ago, some flat earthers and some normal people went down there and completely destroyed the flat earth.
If someone is telling you that it doesn't matter if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, they are lying to you.
And how did it do that, I hear you ask?
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat earth.
That's kind of one of the main subjects of flat earth is Antarctica. So
flat earthers are still talking about Antarctica? Well, I never. It's almost as if they're running around reeking of desperation while frantically trying to prove that a 24-hour sun would work on a flat earth. And so far, nothing.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
JP also goes into how there's no measurable curvature.
It's almost as if JP has gone onto YouTube and searched for flat earth, clicked on the most popular videos from the likes of Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, the ones, and then parroted the points that those people said in their videos. How do you think this is helping you, and what the hell is making you think that this guy is being serious?
So a lot of the globe earthers, they get confused by the horizon. They get confused by what looks like the apparent horizon versus the actual physical horizon.
Are you taking the piss?
The horizon looks curved because, and wait for it, the Earth is a sphere. As the Earth curves away from you, your line of sight eventually meets the point where the surface drops out of view. That line, the edge of what you can see, that's the horizon. And on a sphere, it's naturally curved. Now, the apparent horizon they talk about is just the line where the land or sea meets the sky from your viewpoint. The confusion arises when they can't seem to grasp that a locally level line of sight on a globally curved surface will appear straight to a limited observer, but is, in fact, still a segment of a much larger curve. He's not going to have understood any of that, is he?
The way the horizon works, it kind of looks sometimes like, oh, well, that's the globe right there. We can see how the Earth is curving from the beach. But really, when you look more into it, it's definitely much more sophisticated than what it appears, especially when you get the powerful zoom lens cameras. You can really start to see how people can be fooled by thinking that you can see curvature from a lake and stuff like that.
Don't even know how jokes work, pal. And saying and stuff like that at the end of every sentence makes you sound like a moron. Don't add to that. Try and subtract. Now, a zoom lens brings distant objects closer, but it doesn't magically alter the fundamental geometry of the planet. If a ship has sailed over the curve of the Earth and is hull down below the horizon, zooming in might bring the top of the ship back into view again, but it wouldn't suddenly bring the entire hull back into view. And if it does, it just means that the ship hasn't gone all the way over the...
So JP also goes into the sun and the moon being the same size, and that's a pretty good one too, because it's like with the eclipse and stuff like that, people are saying basically the sun and the moon appear to be the same size on a flat earth model.
The sun and the moon are the same size for eclipses on a flat earth? Is that what he said? Yeah, right. Just ignore the whole distance and perspective thing. It's all a cosmic coincidence or basic astronomy on a globe. You choose.
And JP talks about circumnavigation, which is another one that a lot of the globe earther people, they kind of get fooled very easy with the circumnavigation. They can't figure out that their globe model is the same thing. It's a circle.
Hang on a second now. Did he just say that we think that the globe model or reality is a circle? We live on a circle. Now, it's a very long time since I left school, but I'm pretty sure I remember being taught that a sphere and a circle are not the same thing. One is three-dimensional, one is two-dimensional. It's not important. Well, it's clearly not important to him.
You're going in a big circle. They're thinking that you just go straight and you end up right back where you started on a globe. But no, you go relative to the north.
Yeah, on a globe, travelling in one general direction will eventually bring you back to your starting point. It's called going around a sphere. But our flat earth friend here thinks it's some kind of gotcha, claiming you go relative to the north. So does the north magically stay in one spot on your infinite plane? And how does that explain consistently circling the South Pole?
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
And minds with actual geographical knowledge.
You know, you could tell like the difference between a Mr. Beast flat earth video, who is he started off kind of like a comedian as well. And he did a flat earth video a long time ago and it was horrible.
Well, I saw that video and I thought it was very funny. It was the same as JP's video. He was making fun of you.
You could tell he didn't look into anything about flat earth. It was so goofy and he thought he was funny, I guess, but the joke was really on him, on Mr. Beast, because his flat earth video is one of the most cringiest videos I've ever seen. I mean,
sort of a moron forgets to unmute his mic. But as I was just saying, and he made a shitload of money while doing it. Now that video, this one here, has got 28 million views. We'll be conservative and say Mr. Beast has an RPM of $10, which means that he made $280,000 by making fun of flat earthers. Love you. Bye. So my next door neighbour dropped by last night and said that he'd heard that me and the family had had an amazing time seeing the Ebras at the Ooh. And after he left, my wife said, who the hell was that? I said, oh, just our nosy neighbour.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna